Ian Whiffen, digital forensic examiner, aka the Wi-Fi whisperer. Oh, Ian, sweet, awkward Ian. If this testimony were a crime scene, it would be a cluttered desk full of half-working dongles and man mumbling logistics while trying to get his phone to pair with a projector. What was Whiffen's role? Convince a jury that Apple Maps, Bluetooth beacons, Wi-Fi, GPS, and angry weather gods all conspired to place John O'Keefe's phone somewhere near a flagpole. He brought graphs, he brought charts, he brought live demonstration of how Safari tabs work. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, instead of testifying about the biggest moment of a murder case, he ran a middle school level science fair on stage. Look, I typed 1410 into Google. Nothing happened until I closed the magic tab. Magic. He explained that your iPhone might tell the truth, but not the whole truth, and definitely not when it's under a blanket, a roof, or behind a human body. He even helpfully told us that weather could affect GPS signals. Amazing insight, Ian. Does it also affect your decision to show up in court with a data table and a shrug? The real kicker was when the Commonwealth cross-examined him and he admitted he had done these tests live, like literally that moment. Cellbrite removed the timestamp data because it was unreliable. And Magnet Forensics, the tool still showing that timestamp, oh yeah, it's as reliable as they come. So which is it, fellas? He claimed all those back-channel text signal messages in the consult group chats with the defenses were about logistics. Apparently, logistics is now forensics nerd code for how to best dodge Rule 14 while prepping our opinions like we're coaching a Little League team. Well, by the end, Whiffen was sweating through a demo, fumbling through timestamp lingo, and defending a test environment he literally just built while testifying. At least he didn't say he needed ChatGPT to do it for him. And the verdict, Ian Whiffen, the human version of a buffering icon, a one-man ad for why cell phones, like forensics experts, are only as smart as the last signal they got. Then we moved on to Jennifer McCabe, PTA mom meets panic whisperer. Ah, Jennifer McCabe. The Stepford Wives had a Canton reboot and needed someone to explain away a corpse in her sister's yard between soccer practice and a wine spritzer. This would be their girl. From the moment she opened her mouth, McCabe painted herself as Canton's crown jewel, loving mother of four, sports mom of the century, broom parent, occasional dog swapper, and by pure coincidence, a woman who just happened to be the last person to text the dead guy before he ended up frozen like a yard gnome next to a damn flagpole. Let's talk about the performance. She was warm. She was weepy. She remembered everybody's birthday, shoe size, and what kind of beer was on the table, but somehow couldn't quite remember why she was texting here to a dead man parked outside her sister's murder mansion. I didn't remember seeing the car until my husband reminded me. On the original testimony, she was foggy-headed. MS medicated zombie who needed her husband to remind her about Karen's car being out front. But how? Oh, now? No. She somehow remembers seeing the car in a few different locations, even recalls texting here and pull behind me. If you need your husband to jog your memory on whether a vehicle was outside, how do you suddenly remember triangulating its location across the street, up the flagpole, and then further up in a 2025 GPS detail? Either she lied then or she's lying now. There's no third option. And two, she said, I wasn't paying attention to her car. Then why did you text John here? And why tell Karen to pull behind me? If you weren't paying attention, how did you know the car moved? Her entire performance hinges on pretending she wasn't really studying the Lexus while simultaneously giving a surveillance report more precise than what the FBI gave on bin Laden. The car went out front to the flagpole to further up the street, not paying attention, huh? That's just what totally disengaged beer-sipping party moms do, track vehicle migration patterns in a snowstorm. The 2:27 a.m. search was just a basketball game recap. Well, let's not forget in previous versions, she swore the now infamous 2:27 a.m. Google search, how long to die in the cold, was not a thing, not hers, could not have been. Now she casually strolls through basketball game results into acceptance info for her daughter's AAU club. Problem is, the data shows the tab was open well before 2:27. Yet the actual search timestamp corresponds to the exact time John was freezing to death in the snow. This isn't suspicious. It's like she handed the defense a neon sign reading, check my browser. The taillight, when did you care? First version, McCabe had zero interest in the taillight. This version, she's inspecting it. Carrie's pointing at it. She's concerned it could snag someone's coat. So you're in grief and shock or running a Jiffy Lube inspection at dawn there, Jennifer. Also, if Karen showed her the broken taillight before they found John, that's huge. It creates knowledge of damage prior to seeing the body. If Karen was trying to hide something, why would she point out damage? Either Jen's lying again or Karen's not the criminal here. The CPR scene and flipping the script. Previously, she was in the background, carrying Karen, handling resuscitation. Now she's calling 911, fetching towels, giving compressions, coordinating efforts. She turns into Canton's version of Meredith Grey. Either she forgot to mention that saving's a man's life before or she's overinflating her heroism now to distract from the contradictions. Also, she claims to have done compressions and felt resistance, saying it didn't feel right. That's funny because by her own description, John had been outside freezing for hours. What did she expect? A warm chest and a pulse? She was screaming, screaming, screaming. McCabe's reenactment of Karen's behavior is like a scene from a horror movie, crying, kicking, screaming. Did I hit him while bouncing between the front and back seat? But somehow no one else who encountered Karen immediately afterward, not the first responders, not the neighbors, remembers her acting like that. Jen makes Karen sound like a banshee in heat. Everything else describes her as confused and distraught, but not wildly unhinged, so who's lying? Everyone else, or the only woman who just happened to remember a key confession and car location after speaking with her lawyer? Memory convenience syndrome. Remember exact search phrases from 2 years ago, but not whether someone buckled their seatbelt. Remembers multiple car locations in a blizzard, but not whether Karen came to her house or stayed outside. Remembers the car ride with Carrie and Karen in eerie detail, but can't recall how many times she called John, whether it went into voicemail or how long she was on the phone. She's either got the worst case of selective amnesia on record, or she's re-scripting her part in the story based on how badly it played the first time. Verdict: Jennifer McCabe, the human Fitbit for contradictions, calm, helpful, emotionally calibrated, and somehow never the one holding the shovel, even when she's surrounded by fresh snow and forensic red flags. Then we had the bonus round, Judge Cannone in the ARCCA motion debacle, drunk on power, sober on logic. Yes, enter White Claw Bev. Stage left, robe flapping, gavel twinkling like a prop from a Judge Judy, the crossover body nobody wanted, and what was on the docket? Only the integrity of the entire trial, minor stuff. Let's recap. After day 6 of evidence, which ended with Jennifer McCabe crying about seeing a shirtless Karen Reed performing CPR like she was auditioning for Grey's Anatomy, Snowbank Edition, we were gifted an after-hours court performance from Her Honor, a woman whose grasp of legal ethics seems to hover somewhere between Pinterest mom blog and Hold My Beer. What was at stake? The ARCCA experts. The independent forensic analysis the defense brought in to do actual science, the ones the prosecution did not want on the stand because, one, they used signal, spooky. They destroyed text messages, technically deleted them during phone changes. They talked to the defense as if that's a crime for defense witnesses. And most importantly, they outclassed the Commonwealth's entire forensic team in 20 minutes flat. But the real horror, according to ADA Brennan, the defense might have prepared. At Beverly Cannone's Kangaroo Kingdom, that's basically cheating. Well, the motion precluded the experts. The Commonwealth wanted all ARCCA testimony gone. New opinions, old opinions, opinions they hadn't even finished forming yet. Why? Because the prosecution failed to prepare in time. And they didn't like being caught with their pants down while someone else brought receipts, math, and integrity. So what did Cannon do? Oh, first she has the smart question. Shocker. How do you reconcile 100 deleted texts and a Signal app with Rule 1.5 requiring attorneys to maintain records for 10 years? Excellent question, Bev. For a moment, we thought you were lucid. Even ADA Alessi looked like he had eaten a bag of nails when she said it. Yeah, because it doesn't apply to this, you moron. But then the Bev flipped trademark. Just as quickly as she raised the valid concern, she flushed it down the chamber pot and pulled a classic move. You know what? I was going to win this anyway, so let me roll on it real quick. Wait, what? She acknowledged repeated, deliberate, and admitted violations of court orders, signal app uses, and 100 deleted texts by a retained expert, and said, let's just move on, try the case. It's a fair trial at this paramount. I'll allow them to testify to anything said before yesterday. And May 7th report, sure, fine. So just to be clear, she caught the prosecution bald-faced lying about the rules, admitted the defense did nothing wrong, acknowledged experts had been denied their due time, then handed the Commonwealth a massive win, anyway, by limiting what those experts could say. It was like saying, you know what, yes, the opposing team slashed your tires and burned your playbook, but let's go ahead and play 4 quarters. Just don't use your stop players or last-minute strategies, okay? And this is the part that should go into Law School Hall of Fame. Cannone flat out stated that her own orders had been repeatedly violated, and instead of sanctions, exclusion, or even a mild scolding with a Nerf bat, she essentially said, well, the trial's happening, let's roll. No mistrial, no continuance, no enforcement of Rule 14, no problem. She shrugged off the Commonwealth's misconduct like a hangover on a Tuesday morning and left the defense holding a bag full of subpoenas and half a dozen half-frozen expert reports while the prosecution ran around her courtroom like it was open mic night. Well, here's the verdict. Judge Beverly Cannone, a.k.a. White Claw Bev, doesn't run a courtroom. She runs a sandbox where the rules change based on who's whining the loudest and who brings her the good gossip first. She's not protecting due process. She's babysitting a prosecution that fumbled every legal football and still got handed the end zone. When this trial gets appealed, and it will, this ruling will be Exhibit A. And I appreciate all of you.
Time. Let's break this mother down. With Shizzy, Whiz, Nut.